Cool. Now we know.
All right. Welcome, guys. It is noon Central Standard Time, and we are here to talk about arbitrage. I am with my guest, Alan Urazar. Alan, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Very happy that today our technology worked. Very happy to be here.
Yeah. Pardon any of you who tried to be a part of last week or were looking for a video from last week. We just had a hard time getting it to connect into YouTube. It wasn't working for us, but we're here this week, and we want to interact with you and take your questions on arbitrage. So we believe it's very possible for you to add $500 a month to your budget simply by doing arbitrage on Amazon. This is reselling brand new products that you can find locally or online and sell them on Amazon at a profit. And so arbitrage is simply utilizing two different markets and taking advantage of one market where you can get something at a discounted rate, and then being able to in turn sell it in a different market where the rate is higher, and you're able to take advantage of the two markets and make a profit. And the fact that Amazon.com has such a strong online market really gives us the opportunity to do exactly that. We can find products locally. I've got a couple here that we're going to talk about. You can go right to your own retail stores and find clearance items and discount items, and you'd be amazed at how much profit you can make selling those on Amazon. Not only that, but you can go online and shop discounts and clearance sections online from a whole bunch of different websites. And I do this all the time. Alan does this all the time. We purchase products online, have them shipped to us. We prepare them for Amazon and then send them in for Amazon FBA and are able to sell them at a profit. And it's not rocket science. Amazon gives you the data you need to know what product will work and what products won't work. And Amazon even puts an app on your smartphone that you can scan with. It's free of charge, and you're off to the races, beginning to generate some sales doing e-commerce through Amazon and being able to generate a profit as a result. And if you put one foot in front of the other and add one product to another product, we believe that you can, it's not a pipe dream to think you could add $500 to your budget. And so we're going to talk about that for a minute, and then we're going to take your questions as follow-up to the things that we're discussing. And so if you want to know more about what arbitrage is and how it works, bring us your questions. And if you want to know more about what arbitrage is and how it works, check out the links below. Alan and I are both coaches with Just One Dime, and Just One Dime has rolled out a great membership if you want to do everything from soup to nuts regarding arbitrage. It's called Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. It's an all-inclusive membership that includes video content so that you can get started if you've never done it before. It includes deep dives into tools you can use and specific things that you can do to take your business to the next level. So it's worth it to you if you've already been selling on Amazon. And it gives you access to an incredible community of people who are trying to do the same thing and are willing to help one another out. And so I see some people in the chat who are members with us. I see others that have been with us regularly. This membership is a great investment for you to be able to really establish an e-commerce business and just dream a little, if you'll allow yourself to think about what you could do with a consistent income of $500 added to your current budget. It's what enabled me to ultimately come up with a down payment for the house that I'm standing in at the moment. So I want to welcome some folks, and then Alan, I got a couple of questions about how you get to $500 a month. Sure. Salima, Extortion Watchers, Aaron, Tibor, Ryan, a lot of regulars, the names I recognize. Charmaine, welcome. Yiki Alfonso, Tabini, Ebar. I see questions rolling in already. So I'm glad to see you guys, and we're going to get to those questions real quick. Alan, I'm wondering what would be the first one or two steps that somebody would take if they've never done anything before to actually move towards generating $500 a month in monthly profit. And I'm talking profit. I think you can outrun $500 a month in revenue such that you could actually be bringing in $500 a month. What's the first couple of things somebody needs to do?
Well, for me, it's very interesting because this morning I was talking to our members, and we were having a conversation, and I think there's two different things that we need to understand as sellers and trying to build a business on Amazon. One is, how do you find high quality products to sell on Amazon? I think that's very important, and a lot of people, when they start selling on Amazon, that's one of the first issues that people finds, because you can buy whatever you want and send it to Amazon, but that doesn't mean that it's going to sell or it's going to sell fast. You need to find high quality products. And when I talk about high quality products, I'm always talking, I'm not talking about the quality of the actual product. I'm talking about if the product is selling on Amazon, if it's selling at a good sales velocity over the month or the last 3 months. What is the rank of that item? So I wanna make sure that the products I'm gonna be sending to Amazon, they're high quality, meaning it sells good on Amazon, it has a good profit margin, and then I'm able to compete with other sellers and I'm able to sell it on that platform. Once you understand how do you find those kind of products, and you start understanding and you start finding those kind of products, then the next thing is to have a good goal. Because we all want to sell on Amazon, but nobody knows, or a lot of people, they don't really know, how do you get to $500? What should I be doing in order to get to $500 in profits? And I was doing an exercise with a few people this morning, and to me, to keep it very, very simple, is if I want to be able to let's say make $500 in 1 month of sales in profit. If I'm selling items that I have, let's say $10 in profit, that means that I should be doing, and I was doing the calculation right here. I should be selling 50 units in that month. That gives me a $10 profit average. So if I sell 50 units in a month, I'm gonna get $500 in profit. Now, how much inventory do I have to send to Amazon in order to start getting to 50 units sold on in a month? Then we can start going from there, starting from that base. Then we can start thinking about what do I need to do in order to get 50, 25 sales in a month. And that's a very, very simple way to do it, but you need to have a goal. You need to know, I want to be able to make $200 in this month. If I can make $200 the next 30 days, then I can maybe pay some of my bills, maybe save some more money, or just reinvest that money and build it to the next month. So I think those two things are very important, and we can expand and talk about that a little bit more if you like.
Good. Are you convinced that anybody can do this? What if somebody's out there and they don't have a business degree? They don't have a ton of money to invest as capital. They just kind of feel like they're a regular gal, a regular guy. Is there what does somebody need in order to really get started doing this?
I think anybody can do it. We have testimony of a lot of people in our community. For example, one of our coaches, David Lopez, he started trying to see if his mom would be able to do it. He started teaching his mom, and she was a little bit afraid at the beginning, and then he helped her out a little bit. She started selling. I think she's 55 or 52 years old. She started selling, and she started seeing success. Her his brother, then he saw that his mom was making sales, so he started doing arbitrage as well. His sister started doing arbitrage, and his sister, I think it's 20 years old or younger. His mother-in-law started doing, so now almost his whole family is doing arbitrage, and they all have their own Amazon accounts, and they're all working their business and building their business. And I think his mom is already making like $15,000 or $20,000 a month within maybe 7-8 months. And now she quit one of her jobs, and now she's working a part-time in her Amazon business. So I think anybody that has that passion for building their own business and has that dedication, because it's not easy. It is, hard work, and you have to learn, and you have to practice, and you have to, get get past that that you're always afraid of what happens if I lose my money, or if I don't sell my inventory. You have to pass that and then be able to to keep growing.
Yeah, any business venture or attempt to do something is going to involve some risk, but I'm amazed at how easily you can mitigate that risk and how minimal the risk is doing this. I took it one step at a time. I really think all you need to start with is a strong work ethic and some conviction that you can make this work. I certainly don't have a business degree. I had never run a business before. I had never done e-commerce before. All those things just felt like they weren't something that I had on my resume. And yet I was able to kind of figure out what I could do is kind of spot a deal. And I knew how to make sense of buying one item at a certain price and selling it for another. I mean, it just kind of felt like common sense to me. And I liked that it wasn't something extremely complicated. And so I was able to just kind of put one foot in front of the other and gain some confidence. And over time, it was amazing how quickly I got to profiting $500 a month without even having a goal and without having any kind of community. I think if you decided you were going to invest in this and you joined the membership below Amazon Arbitrage Mastery and had some clear goals and did what Alan said, I mean, what's a reasonable time frame that somebody could achieve this? What do you think?
I think once you understand how to find these, high quality products, which, for some people, depending on how much time do you put, during the week, and you take time to learn and everything. I think once you start sending profitable items and high quality items to Amazon, within a few weeks, you can start making some sales. The problem that I see a lot of people having is from when they start trying to learn how to sell products on Amazon to where they understand, okay, this is a good product. I'm going to send 2-3 units of this. And then within a week or two, you start selling those units. A lot of people get stuck on that period of that learning process. And for some people can be, a few weeks to a few months, depending on how much time that they dedicate, not only to watching videos or going through the process, but also practicing, making mistakes, finding something and figuring out this was, I forgot to check this and that, or I didn't notice that there was, 25 sellers and I made a mistake. The nice thing about arbitrage is that you can make, mistakes where, you're gonna spend, $50 in a few products, and then it didn't work out. So you're not, the time that it takes for you to recover from that mistake is not gonna take you, years, as opposed, to maybe opening a restaurant, spending $100,000, and then 3 months later, nobody's buying from your restaurant, and you have to close it down, or you get stuck with a big investment. So you can make small mistakes trying to figure it out, but you're always trying to get go one step further and keep learning. And then once that click in your mind and you're able to find products, you can ramp up and scale it really fast.
Yeah, that's really good. We'll get to your questions in about 2 minutes. I want to show you, I like to feature products sometimes that I've found. And so I did some RA this week. And one of the places that might surprise you that I often find really good retail arbitrage deals is a local drugstore here. And it wouldn't have occurred to me to look at drugstores in the first place. And really, the majority of them haven't been that successful for me. But there's one in particular here in Vermont that I like to check out. And if I find really good deals there, I usually can go. There's 5 or 6 of them within like a 30-mile radius, and I can usually hit them all and find the same kind of deals. So let me share my screen and in a second and show you what I've got. This is what I found this week. Active Mind. These are vitamins for cognitive health. So if you need some cognitive health, maybe this is something that you want. Again, I sell stuff all the time that I would never buy myself, and sometimes I don't even really know what it is. But this is 60 coated tablets. You can see right here. I paid $7.99 for that. Active Mind, 1 box. Let me share my screen and show you the listing for this. So here's the listing for this item, and you can see it. The first thing I did when I scanned this in the store is I wanted to make sure that it was listed on Amazon. So this is how you do it. You find a product or products, and you move forward to see if they're listed on Amazon and if they're well worth your while. Are they a high quality product? So I found this in the clearance section. I go straight to the clearance section when I go to this store. The orange sticker always indicates that it's clearance. I looked with my app. I scanned this product and found that it was on Amazon. And so now I'm going to just do a couple things to look at the product. I'm going to make sure it matches exactly. So the one in my hand is 60 coated caplets. That's what this listing is for. The brand is identical. I can look at the box and the picture, and they're absolutely precise. So I'm not concerned that the listing is offering an item different than what I have in my hand. That's the first thing I'm doing. Now I'm going to look at what's called the BSR, which is the bestseller rank. And anytime you're thinking of BSR, you want to think golf. And so lower is better. If you had a BSR of 1, it would be the number 1 selling item in that category on the entire Amazon platform, and it would be selling like a monster. So this one has just shy of 20,000 for a BSR, 19,828, which is in the top 0.3% rev seller, tells me. This is a Chrome extension that I have embedded in my browser, and it helps me to see that this is a very small percentage of the category. So 19,000 is a good BSR. It's a low BSR. It indicates that I'm going to get really good sales on this item. Now, the next thing I want to do is to consider the price. And the buy box price for this item, as you can see, is $23.69. And again, another reason I like RevSeller is it puts all these prices right in here. So I can type in the $7.99 that I paid for the product, and RevSeller is going to help me calculate after Amazon fees, what does it look like for me? And my profit would be $8.95. So I'm purchasing this product for $7.99. I'm selling it for $23.69, and the result is that I make a little under $9. Basically, I'm spending $8 and profiting $9, and that ROI is 112%. So I'm thrilled about this product.
Let's stay there for 1 minute.
What's that, Alan?
Let's stay there for 1 minute. Let's say that how many of that kind of a product would you need to sell in a month in order to get $500? So if I divide 500 by, let's say, $8 profit, you need 63 units. Good.
That's a helpful indication. And I'll tell you, I'm partway through a shipment. I saw somebody in the comments that said they're listening to our broadcast right now while preparing a shipment for Amazon FBA. I'm in the middle of one out in the garage right now, and it's about 190 items that'll go into Amazon FBA. And I think probably 75 of those I found doing retail arbitrage in the past week. And so I've been able to find that number of items in the last week. Now, not all of them are going to make $9 profit, but I think probably the average is more than $9. And so I do think that is helpful to show that this is exactly what you could do. Good. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'd love questions about that. I'd love input on that. Any thoughts about a product like this? But I'm telling you, there's stuff like this all over the place that you can find. I've got a couple other here, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to get into them and share them. I want to get to your questions, and so I want to talk arbitrage and talk responding to some of the things that you've said. So, Alan, let's turn our attention to the questions and see what we can't figure out. Charmaine is wondering how she should scale her price if she's the only FBA seller. So if you were the only seller on a listing, how would you think about approaching your price adjustment?
Well, one thing that I look at is I want to look at the history of that price, because if the history on that product shows me that the highest price, let's say let's just keep on this item that you were looking at. Let's say that the highest price on that item is being $24.99. I don't want to put it for $50. I don't want to go up to $50 because I know people won't pay that. They've never paid that price before. And Amazon also will see that the increase on the price to the average is very high, so they probably take the buy box away. So I'm always looking at what is the history of that product shows me. So if the history shows me that the highest price has been, let's say, $29.99, that would be the maximum I'm putting, that product, the maximum price I'm putting on that product. But also I look at the lower price. So for example, if Amazon tells me that for the last 90 days that product is being, the lowest price is being $22.99, I don't want to sell that product for $19.99, even if there's a lot of competition, because then I'll be coding all my losses myself by mistake. So I'm always looking at the history of that product, and we teach you all of that in the in the members area, and how to analyze the Keepa charts and everything. But I'm always looking at the history of that product. And then I don't want to go any higher than what the history tells me. So I don't want, I will never put something 500% ROI just because there's nobody else selling. And, especially on a regular, month of the year, maybe for Q4, a lot of people take advantage and they end up selling items very, very high on the price. But I usually use the data to tell me what to put the products for.
Yeah, that's a really helpful answer. I think the one thing I'd add to that is I think there are times when you can push the envelope a little bit, and it could be because the particular product is in high demand, and for whatever reason, there just aren't a lot available on Amazon. And if you're the only seller, that could be the case, especially if the BSR is still strong and others have sold out or something like that. And so there are times when you can increase the price in an exceptional way and benefit from that. I just think you want to approach carefully. And I see Marina's question, Marina's saying, how can you raise the price of your item? When I raised my price, Amazon deactivated the listing. And that does sometimes happen. And there are times, more often, Amazon will just take away the buy box. And so you'll see a listing where you've got multiple sellers even selling the item, but none of them have the buy box. The only way somebody could purchase it would be to click on available sellers and go deeper to find a product. And I sell stuff in that situation consistently. I often sell even when there is no official buy box. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty rare that Amazon will deactivate your listing. Or what I've seen recently is they'll say that there's a pricing error and maybe, which is what you're talking about. So they deactivate that, but if you reprice, then your listing comes back, and it's just their way of telling you there's a threshold here. But I just find in a lot of listings that's not the case. And so I guess my answer would be that I would, if you were going to venture into the higher realms with your price, I would do it at small increments and kind of test the waters. And so you could go from $29.99 to $30.99 and just kind of see what happened. You're not going to get in trouble by doing that. And maybe, $1 at a time, you could kind of make some increments. Aaron's asking about what he refers to as the leads list. So Aaron's a recent new member of our Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. And when you join that membership, you have the opportunity to choose 30 days of free leads, which are just a list of products that we give you that you can find doing online arbitrage. And we just kind of give those to you. It's a free benefit of the membership. And so Aaron's asking about those and saying, for a couple of the products, he was gated, and so there was a restriction in place. And here's what we always say when it comes to restrictions. If you're unable to sell a brand or a product or in a category because of a restriction, we encourage you to click the little button that says needs approval, or the lower left-hand corner of your seller app to see if you can list the product separately by getting ungated. And so every single time I encounter that, I apply to have the restriction lifted. There are times when Amazon will automatically remove that restriction and you'll be ungated, and then you can go forward and sell that product, and that just expands your opportunities. And the more you sell successfully on Amazon, the more they're gonna allow you to do that. Now, Aaron, my word to you is if you don't get that automatic approval and they then demand invoices, just call it quits unless you have some very unique relationship with an authorized supplier or the brand owner themselves. And so in this case, they're requiring you to show 10 items from like Nike or something else. They're not looking for just run-of-the-mill retail receipts. They're wanting to see an invoice that proves you have a unique relationship with somebody like an authorized supplier or the brand Nike themselves. And my guess is you don't have that. And so in this case, I would just move on and really accept that as a no from Amazon, that at least at this point in your business adventure, you're not going to be able to sell those products.
And I would recommend maybe after a few months that you've been making some sales, come back to the same brands and try to request approval again. But usually once you start building that sales history, a lot of brands are going to start opening up for you. So you always want to, come back and just try again and see if they approve your account.
Yeah, that's right. Because anytime you get automatic approval, it says explicitly that they give it to you based on your seller performance. And so it's because you've demonstrated to Amazon a certain level of being able to sell. So Alan's right. Salima asks, is it better to have a professional seller central account when starting? And do not know when we'll find the right product to sell. So how do you approach that, Alan? How would you counsel somebody? The difference between us, so that, just so you know, if nobody's done this before, when you set up your Amazon Seller Central account, you have two options. You can either set up a professional account or an individual account. The individual account is free of charge, but every time you sell a product, they add a fee of $1 for that product. The professional account has some perks to it, and the subscription fee is $39.99 a month, but then they waive that $1 per item fee. So as soon as you sell 40 items, you've paid for the professional membership, the professional subscription, and you get those other little perks at the same time. So Salima's just asking about that. When do you pull the trigger on a professional account? What do you say to that, Alan?
I usually recommend that if you're starting up and you just want to get the individual and just start getting to know the Seller Central dashboard, you can do that. But once you start sending products to Amazon, if you start, if you want to make it a business and you do want to sell more than 30 or 40 units a month, you do want to upgrade, because let's say you end up selling 55 units that month and you're on the individual or the free account, you're gonna end up paying $55 to Amazon, where if you got the $39 a month, you only pay $39 a month and you can sell 100 units or 200 units. It doesn't matter. One thing that we recommend our members is, because you want to understand how everything works on Amazon, you want to have access to, kind of learn how the reports work and all the other things that open up for you when you have the professional account. You can get the professional account, and as soon as you get in, and within, let's say, the first 90 days, if you haven't sold anything because you're learning or trying to find good products, you can contact Amazon, tell them, I'm starting to sell, but for the last 3 months I haven't sold anything. Usually they help you, they give you discounts, or they reimburse you some of that money. And we've had a lot of members of the community that they've done that, because on the first 60 days, 90 days, they couldn't sell anything, and Amazon usually helps you out. They will help you somehow to kind of recoup that investment that you've done.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not sure why, in my opinion, get the professional seller account and just go out there and really knock it down so that you can find a bunch of items. And even if you sell, 20 items in a month, half of the subscription fee has been paid for. And so to me, it's a small fee for just really saying, I'm gonna do this and get it done. So usually when I counsel people, it's like, if you're serious about jumping into this, spend the $39.99 a month. It's going to come out of your Amazon paycheck. You're going to have some time before, that has a huge impact on you, and you can sell. I think you can sell 40 items in a month, even if you're just getting started, I guess is my point. So, but you're free to make that choice, which is the nice thing about Amazon. You can really customize how your business is going to go based on what your situation is.
Yeah. Just imagine what other business you can start the business with $39 a month. I mean, any other franchise or any other business, you have to put $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 up front. So in this business, to start with $39, even if it's 3 or 4 months, a couple $100 to have your business running and 100% on Amazon, I think is worth the investment.
Yeah, I'm going to skip around a little bit with the questions. There's a question asking, isn't arbitrage the same thing as drop shipping? The answer is no. Alan, can you explain kind of what drop shipping is and how what we're promoting is different from drop shipping?
Sure. I believe that within Amazon, there's a lot of different models, of doing business. You can buy liquidation pallets and send them to Amazon. You can buy books and send them to Amazon. You can buy arbitrage, and buy from the retail source. And there's one model that is a drop shipping where you list products on Amazon and then you only buy them until the customer, pays for them. And it's a model that some people do. The only difference is that it's very high risk. It's a very high risk model because remember the Amazon. Most people on Amazon they want to buy on Amazon because they're looking for a free shipping, 2-day free shipping, and the lowest price. And if you're gonna buy something from Walmart, let's say, and you want to drop ship it, once somebody buys it on Amazon, you have to buy it from Walmart. Walmart is going to be a lower price, and then it's going to take 6-7 days for that product to get to the customer. And a lot of people have issues with that. A lot of customers they don't like that they purchase something on Amazon and they get the product from Home Depot or from from China. It's going to take 2-3 weeks. So it's really hard. It's a really very high risk model because you get a lot of complaints, you get a lot of bad feedback. Your profit margins are very small, and of course you don't have to spend the money on the inventory, but you most likely on Amazon you're gonna end up with your account shut down because it's a very high risk business model. So we don't recommend you to start with that model. We recommend you to start with one level up, let's say, which is arbitrage, and you can do retail or online arbitrage where you buy the product. You send it to Amazon. The product is already on the warehouse on Amazon. Amazon can offer a 2-day free shipping on that product. And as soon as the customer buys it, Amazon send it to the customer, and you get your profit. So it's a more secure business model than drop shipping. And a lot of people get in trouble because they do drop shipping, on Amazon.
Yeah, I think a much better approach is to be finding objects that you can make stronger margins on and then use Amazon FBA. So they're still doing the warehousing. They're still doing the pick and pack. They're shipping everything for you. I mean, I was really able to scale my business that way. So I don't feel like I'm holding on to massive amounts of inventory. I mean, I have inventory with Amazon FBA, but it's not like I need to really handle that on my own. I prep items and send them in, but all of that is well worth it for me to be able to really work with the products I want to work with. And I do think this is a safer model. So that's really why we advocate arbitrage. We understand there's a lot of different ways to sell and be successful on Amazon. You can do wholesale. Some people do that well. Alan and I just have found that arbitrage works and that it's continued to work. So I've had sustained margin for over 5 years, primarily doing arbitrage, and it's worked really well for me. Now you can do private label as well, and Just One Dime has memberships for both of those. And so you can check the links out below and look at Amazon Arbitrage Mastery. That's what we're talking about today. You can look at the FBA Mastery membership as well, which focuses on private label. And I see some people asking questions about the relationship between the two. It is our premise that you can really sell effectively on Amazon by coupling private label and arbitrage together. A lot of people like to do arbitrage as a foundation to then launch certain private label products from. And so I want to address some of the questions in that regard. We have a ton of members who are members of both communities, and they just find multiple benefits from it, and they're able to work back and forth. So in your experience, Alan, how long does it take to go, if you're using arbitrage as a stepping stone to private label, what would be kind of a way to orient people's expectations for what they should think about? Say they're aiming to make $500 a month, but instead of using that to widen the margin in their budget, they're going to take that $500 a month and put it towards a private label enterprise. What do you think the timing of that might look like based on your experience?
I think it really depends on your goals. In my experience, I started selling on Amazon about 3.5 years ago. After about 6 or 7 months, I started learning about private label. I launched my first product in 2017, about August 2017. But I was having so much success with arbitrage that I didn't put too much attention on that private label product. So I kept building my arbitrage business. And last year I launched 3 or 4 private label products. But still my arbitrage business is still very good, and I focus almost 100% on that business. That I kind of leave my private label business on the side. And this year I'm getting ready to send another private label. So for me, it depends on what really you want to do, because I've been able to scale arbitrage and I like doing arbitrage, and I do get a very good profit margin out of that model. That I don't want to focus, I don't want to lose my focus on that, so I don't put a lot of focus on private label. But I know a lot of people that they do arbitrage for 6 months, a year, and then they start doing private label, and they just focus on that 100%, and they stop doing arbitrage. Once you focus on that, then you can build it very fast. In my case, I do focus a lot more on arbitrage, and I do private label on the side, but it's not at the same scale as my arbitrage business.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people do that's effective is they begin with arbitrage. They work for 6 to 12 months on their arbitrage business. What is that? That your private
label?
Oh, very cool.
I have it right here. I'm getting ready to send it.
Very cool. So what a lot of people do is they work arbitrage for 6 to 12 months to build a strong foundation, generate some capital. I would recommend starting by purchasing the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership. Get the free leads. That will really propel your start to selling on Amazon. And I think within 6 to 12 months, you can have turned that initial investment into $500 in monthly profits or more. And that income would allow you, say by the end of 2019, to begin to look into your private. Did I say 2019? By the end of 2020, time is just flying. By the end of 2020, you could begin thinking private label. And, you would have enough money that you could purchase the private label, the Amazon FBA membership, Mastery, FBA Mastery membership. And then you would also have enough capital that you could begin investing in your initial private label product. All of that would be the fruit of arbitrage. So I think we've seen a lot of people do that. And most people that I'm familiar with don't stop doing arbitrage and then start doing private label. They work the two together. And so what arbitrage allows you to do is to generate sales on Amazon. They see that you're an active member. You get to know Amazon Seller Central very well. You know it thoroughly. Before I ever launched my first private label product, I had sold a ton on Amazon. I knew how to work Amazon. My account was well established. And then, like Alan, I did a private label foray out of that arbitrage work. And I've liked arbitrage, so I've continued to really lean heavily on arbitrage. My account is almost 100% arbitrage right now. But we have a lot of members who are doing more than Alan and I. They're launching multiple private label products, but they continue to do arbitrage. I mean, Seth himself not long ago was hitting yard sales and doing arbitrage. He and Kim love doing that. And so I think that's kind of the mindset that you want to have. You want to have a successful Amazon e-commerce business, and you can really work both together. And why not throw in some wholesale? If you can get a couple accounts with authorized dealers that can be sending you a replenishable product, that makes you some margin, I think why not diversify your portfolio in that way and really make good money that way. So check out the link below. All the information that you need to know about the memberships are there. Let's see what else we got. Good questions. I love the interaction that we get on this program. How much are you guys investing per month for your inventory to earn a full-time income? Well, Salima, personally, I don't earn a full-time income. I could do it full-time if I wanted to. So the answer is, for me, I've never wanted to do Amazon full-time. I've always wanted it to serve other things that I'm doing. And so I've maneuvered, I've made a career change, and now I'm doing the thing that I want to do the most. And I'm leveraging my Amazon business to support that and to fuel it and to make it possible. So that's never been my goal, to go full-time. It's hard to answer your question because I just buy products and sell products when I find opportunities. And then I look at what my profits are each and every month. And it doesn't feel like I'm investing X number of dollars. But when I look at how much I've spent on my cost of goods inventory on a month-by-month basis, for me, it's probably between $4,000 and $6,000 each month that I'm pushing into cost of goods. Now, my payouts are greater than that. And so again, it doesn't feel like I'm just going and finding money that I have to put into the business. That's just what I need to spend to keep my inventory moving and to continue to make money. Alan, would you answer it differently?
No, it's about the same. The only thing is that in my case, I've been able to scale it, by adding more people to my team and having more people, buying products and all that. So I do move about $50,000 to $60,000 of inventory every month. That's about what I'm doing right now, and I have to replenish all of that every month in order to keep my sales at the same rate every month.
Yeah, good. I see the Kid Unknown. Welcome to the program. He says, "Don't be fooled. You need some money to start." I certainly wasn't trying to fool anybody into thinking they didn't need any money to start, but I think the point is you can get started wherever you're at. And so you could take, somebody says, Ryan P says maybe as little as $100. That's how I did it. I remember the first time I bought items for RA, it was at a Toys R Us, and it was like $80. And I just wanted to see what those products would do. And they sold really quick, and I got a payout back, and I just kind of did that one after another. And I think when I started getting confident, I had $500 or more to invest before I actually saw payouts that could kind of cover that amount of money. But the point I'm trying to make is you can start wherever you find yourself. And I've known people that they go around the house and they gather up all kinds of stuff, and they sell some on Craigslist, they sell some on eBay, they have some new items they can sell on Amazon, and they find themselves with like $200 or $300 or $400 from stuff that they've been able to just get rid of from the house, and then they're off to the races. And so in essence, they use no cash because they were just able to kind of make something like that work. So if you're in a pinch, my point is get creative, and wherever you are, figure out what the next step forward looks like. And if you do that day by day, when you get 6 months from now, you'll look back and you'll be amazed at what you accomplished because you were just consistent. You were like the turtle that was just slow and steady, and found yourself to be way ahead of where you might have imagined you would be. Edward asks, how many minimum sellers in a listing to send inventory? I don't know exactly what he's asking, but how do you, Alan, approach the number of sellers on a listing and bring that into consideration when trying to decide if a product is worth purchasing?
I don't like to see more than 10 sellers on that listing, but you have to understand also that there can be 20 sellers on that listing, but some sellers are going to be very expensive, or they're going to have their products very high. And then you want to focus on the ones that you're going to be able to compete, the ones that are closer to the buy box, or the ones that are closer to the price that you want to sell your product with a good profit margin. So even if there's 20 sellers on that listing, but there's only 5 or 4 sellers that are within the price that I want to compete, those are the ones that I focus on. So, that's the way I analyze the products.
Good. I'm seeing some interaction over these little fellas. I bought 3 of these because that's all they had. I probably would have bought more, but that's all they had. And Ryan P says, leave it alone. Leave it alone. It will sell. Don't compete. I'm not sure what he's saying. Part of what they've pointed out is that when I shared my screen, it showed that Amazon was selling these. So are you willing to compete with Amazon if you see Amazon as one of the sellers, Alan?
Yes and no. I have to see that Amazon is sharing the buy box, and there's tools that we use to kind of see that. But if Amazon is sharing the buy box, yes, I will definitely buy it. If I don't see that, then I'll probably skip it.
Good. And I like to do it. I'm not afraid to compete with Amazon. I've found lots of instances where I've been able to sell right alongside Amazon. There are times when they just box you out and they dominate the buy box, and you can't really do anything about. Well, you can do it. You can lower your price, and I saw somebody on here talking about that. And usually Amazon will chase you until you reach the bottom of their algorithm, and so they've kind of preset what their bottom threshold is, and so I'm more likely to compete with Amazon if I have one of 2 things. One, a really big margin. So then I know I can, if I'm forced to, I can lower my price a little bit to try to get under Amazon, and I'm still going to make money. Secondly, if there's a really low BSR, because you'll find there are a ton of times when Amazon runs out of inventory. It happens all the time. And so I think you can compete with Amazon. It's worth mentioning that you should have caution, maybe would be the way to say it, when you see that they're a competitor and that they have the buy box, because there are times when you kind of get pinned. But I find that they're fairly rare. It happens, but it doesn't happen all the time. No. What software do you recommend to start, Alan? That's one of the questions we have.
I would say if just start with the Amazon Seller app. You can start finding products that way. If you're on your computer, one tool that I think is very important is Keepa. The second tool that I like, and I think it saves you a lot of time, and it's it's easier to analyze products, is RevSeller. But other than that, all the other tools are going to be secondary, and you can start with, if you have those 3 tools, you can start building your business, and once you start making some money, you can start adding other tools. But I think those are very essential.
Yeah, that's good. Doug's asking about a comment I made last time about if you can't sell items on Amazon, or if you get stuck with returns. I like to sell on eBay. I've even sold stuff on Craigslist, and we have a yard sale or 2 every year. And those are just ways to, if I can't sell a product or it gets returned, I count it as a loss and I move on mentally. But if I can take all those items and generate additional cash, certainly that's fun. That's a bonus. So what I do, Doug, is I create a removal order and remove the products and have them returned to myself, and I shelve them, and then I list them on eBay or Craigslist, and I sell them out of my garage. I have enough room in my garage. I have 3 or 4 shelving units that I use for those kinds of products. Alan, maybe you do something different. I don't know, but he's also asking about selling on eBay and having it fulfilled through Amazon. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit more.
For items that I cannot sell on Amazon, most of the time I'm going to try to sell them on eBay. And then if I cannot sell them, I just take them to Goodwill, and I just get tax credit for that. I've done that. I usually do it like twice a year. Everything that I haven't been able to sell anywhere else, I just take it to Goodwill. And when you have product inventory on Amazon, you can also promote that same product on eBay, and there's tools that kind of automate that process. For me, it doesn't work that well because I only have 2 or 3 units of each item on my Amazon account. So usually by the time I sell something on eBay, it's already gone on Amazon. So sometimes I have to cancel orders, especially the items that sell very fast on Amazon. They're also going to sell on eBay. So those are the ones that I don't really put those items on eBay because I know I'm going to sell them very fast on Amazon. The ones that I put on eBay are the ones that I haven't been able to sell in the last 3, 4, 5 months on Amazon, then I put those on eBay. And if I still have it on the warehouse on Amazon and I sell something on eBay, I can send that product to my customers. But usually it's going to be the low selling items on Amazon.
Good. Matthew's asking what the best way to remove stickers is from products. I love this the stickers on this drugstore are nice because they peel so easy. Once you get these up, they just come off so nice. I love it. Bed Bath & Beyond, in my experience, has the absolute worst stickers. And if you've got, see, there's multiple, you can tell this was discounted several times, but they put them in the same place and they peel off easy. Bed Bath & Beyond like whacks it on every side and the stickers come off terrible. So, Matt, some of the things that are helpful for that is, and I see some of the other people on the chat mention these things, but I use a heat gun. I bought a heat gun for that purpose to remove labels, or a hair dryer will work. If it's stuck on cellophane, which you asked about, the hair dryer might be a better option. You got to be careful you don't melt the cellophane trying to get the sticker off. And so it's a little trickier with cellophane. And I find if you peel off stickers, again, these are nice because they leave, this sticker left 0 residue, but sometimes it'll leave some gum on here. And somebody mentioned Goo Gone, Marina did. I think Goo Gone's really helpful. My dad makes biodiesel, and we actually use that biodiesel because it's all natural, and it removes that sticky stuff like a champ. So maybe I should start a business selling bottled biodiesel. Remove your stickers. But so some sort of soap or Goo Gone or something like that is designed to remove that gum can be really helpful, because what you don't want to tear or damage the cellophane, which is a trick with some of them. I do find in most cases that when there is cellophane, the stickers come off easier, but I'm sure Matthew's encountering some that aren't that way. And this is, prepping items is something that you need to do to get Amazon FBA. The last thing I want is for the person who buys this to see a sticker that says $7.99 on it. So you want to think through how to prep these well. We have a whole section in our membership where we talk in detail about how to prep items. And I think we had a heat gun when we did that, and we talked about it at length. The course is $997 for an annual membership. It's I think you could use the leads list alone to make up that amount. If you're making $500 a month in profit a year from now because you invested in your business that way, I think you'll be extremely satisfied. And we find that our members are very happy with what we've offered in the membership. So The Kid Unknown, we'd love to have you on board. Check it out. Click the link below. Aaron's making some comments to that end. Let's see what else we got. A few minutes left. Any hints for those who live in Europe and want to do arbitrage? We have members throughout Europe for sure. We have members all over the world. It's amazing. Some sell. So a couple things. Seller Inc. A couple things to say about that. One, no matter where you're located the world over, you could sell on Amazon.com. And we have a lot of members, I've mentioned this before, who live outside the United States, but they buy items from websites that are U.S. based. They have the items shipped to a prep center who will take care of all the preparations that we just talked about and actually have the items sent in for Amazon FBA. And then these same sellers sell through Amazon.com. So they manage their entire business from a remote location, and they allow it all to happen within the United States. They set up banking information and get a credit card and all that based in the U.S. So that would be one option if you're listening and you would want to take advantage of the .com market. Now, the cool thing about being in Europe is, Amazon has a strong presence in the EU. And so really there's no reason why you can't do the same thing if you're in Europe that we're doing here in the US. You can do retail arbitrage locally, and you can do online arbitrage right over on the other side of the big pond, and really approach arbitrage the same way. Alan, anything to add to that specifically about Europe?
No, I think once you understand, how do you find good products, you can apply that same for any market. And we have people doing it, in Spain and UK, Mexico. So it just depends on learning how do you find good products and how do you manage your business.
Good. How many items do you recommend shipping to save on shipping costs? I mean, there's no magic number, right? You can't really answer that with a number, but the principle is simple. The more items that you ship at one time, the cheaper the per item price is going to be. That's kind of the case for everything. So I try to ship between 100 and 200 items every week or every 10 days or so. And I find that if I'm shipping over 100 items, and this is to ship a large group of products in for Amazon FBA, and then Amazon's going to warehouse it, distribute it to different fulfillment centers, and then they're going to have it ready to go so that when it sells, they can pull it off the shelf and pack it and ship it for you. So this is taking advantage of Amazon FBA. I find if you're only shipping 10 to 20 items, the price per item cost is going to be significantly higher, because no matter how many items you ship, 9 times out of 10, Amazon's going to break it into at least 3 shipments. And so if you're shipping 20 products, 3 are going to go here, 2 are going to go here, and then the other 15 might go to a location near you. But that increases it too, because if you ship 2, I'm in Vermont, if I ship 2 items to California, I mean, it's going to cost at least $10, even if they're not super heavy products. And so those 2 items are like $5 a piece.
I usually recommend at least 25 to 30 items when you're starting up. That's gonna, as long as you can get about $1 per item at the beginning. Of course, the more you send, the lower your shipping is. But at least if you can get, 25 units, 30 units in one shipment, that's gonna give you a good enough shipping charge where you still have enough profit margin.
Yeah, to me, I continue to think that it's very possible to find more items so that these issues don't plague sellers as much. So to me, if you can figure out where to find products and how to analyze products and get the right opportunities, if I have a bad week and I only have 40 or 50 products, I still have plenty to send in and I'm not really stressed about it. So some of it's just figuring out where the opportunities are. Maybe it's time to buy the membership and to kind of try to take your business to the next level. So now these kind of small price questions aren't really plaguing you, or to just begin scaling your business a little bit one way or the other. But it's a relevant issue, especially if you're just getting started. You don't want to be getting killed by any sort of shipping fees. Matthew, if you look in the description below, you can find a link that has over 72 prep centers that we recommend. I don't know of any in Texas off the top of my head, but I would check out that link and get the list of prep centers and go from there. Ryan P., where do you get your boxes to package everything up from, and sometimes bubble wrap? I think boxes can be attained for free if you're creative. So I've talked to a lot of people who have kind of thought outside the box, no pun intended, and they've been able to find them usually through some friendship or relationship with somebody who has access to them. So I used to work at IBM, and I found, it's a huge plant, and I just nosed around, and through my job, I realized that they were bringing in these boxes that are about 22 inches cubed, and all they would do is take the product out of those boxes, and then they would fold them and put them in the recycler. It was that simple, and these boxes were pristine. So I just asked kind of the manager in that department, like, if I took some of these boxes, would it be a big deal? And he's like, no, have at it. And then I got to know a guy in there, and he went as far as to say, well, what if I just set some aside in this one spot, and you can come get them at any time? And so what I then did is, like, once a week or every couple of weeks, I'd duck in there. There'd be a huge pile of boxes that were perfect for my business. I'd lug them out to my car. And then when he saw that I had taken away the pile, he would just start putting them back there until it got a certain height. So the whole time I worked at IBM, I just had a consistent supply of great boxes. Then I quit that job about 6 months ago, and I thought, what am I going to do about my boxes? But I know a bunch of people at IBM, so I just had a couple conversations. I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and he said, oh, I'll stop by and grab those boxes. I could probably use some of them myself. And so now, probably once every 2 weeks, he drops a load off in my garage. I just go out to my garage, and there's a pile of boxes that he brought over. So I don't know if that's helpful. Who asked the question? Ryan. I don't know if that's helpful. My point, though, is that I'm amazed at how you can find stuff like that. And so think through where are boxes, being utilized. There could be a retail store near you that just had a bunch of boxes that you could take advantage of. Do you buy them, Alan? And if so,
I usually buy them, but I've gone to like shopping, small shopping strips, and I just go in the back and kind of look at boxes. But I'm shy, so I just rather go to Home Depot and just buy 3 boxes, and that's it.
Do you get them from Home Depot?
Yeah.
Good. Let's see what else. Try to be quick here. Aaron, clothing item 2 sizes, 1 listing or multiple? Well, Aaron, you're not creating any listings, so it depends on how it's already been created. Most clothing items, all the variations are on 1 listing. That's typically how it is. And if they're separated into separate listings, usually the BSR is through the roof, because if something's listed as a size 2, only certain people are going to be going there to buy it. So I think you want to find a listing that has a low BSR, which is going to be a listing with multiple variations of sizes. And then I frequently buy a ton of different variations when I find a really good deal. That's just kind of how I roll. Kyle, do you utilize cashback credit card and gift cards? Yeah, absolutely. So I have a good credit card. I use a Capital One credit card. They've given me a high line of credit. I get % cash back every month. It's a nice little bonus. I also use Rakuten, however you say it, which used to be Ebates. So if you're doing online arbitrage with your credit card, you can get money back through Rakuten. You can get it back through your credit card. And that's all a nice bonus. I don't mess around with gift cards. It just feels like a huge hassle to me, and it screws up my record keeping. I rather just keep track of my records more simply. If I buy a credit card and then use that credit card against a purchase, a gift card rather, I get confused in my record keeping, but that's just me. There are websites like Gift Card Granny that you can use and try to get deals on gift cards if you want to. Alan Matthews poking you to say that you had employees in Houston and wondered if they used a local prep center in Houston.
No, they do everything themselves. So I pay them for sourcing, prepping, and shipping. So we don't use a prep center in Houston. I use one in Florida.
Good. Haley's saying, ask any staff at a supermarket and get boxes for free. Yeah, I mean, that's a cool way to think. Think through all the locations around you, retail stores, and who might have boxes they want to get rid of, and just be friendly. Building relationships with people is an awesome way to just move things forward. I have friendships with managers and store owners and people that really help me out all the time. So that's a great way to do it. Yeah. Listen, our hour's up. We really want to encourage you to give serious thought to doing arbitrage on Amazon. It feels really good to have added margin to your budget. It really does. That freedom is really nice. It's nice because you can get out from under debt. It's nice because you can take advantage of moving towards some of the goals more quickly that you might have, whether it's buying a car, buying a house, traveling. I'm telling you, it's possible, and it's just a simple way for you to get active thinking about how you can provide for yourself and for your family by adding margin to your budget. We're absolutely convinced that the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership is worth the investment, that it will help you get to where you want to go. And being a part of a community and having help from the very beginning is good. It's helpful for you. I wish I had it when I started. It would have accelerated my business, and it would have helped me avoid a ton of mistakes and a ton of frustration and confusion, because I just emotionally was having to figure a lot of things out and didn't have other people to really work with to think that through. So check out the links below. I hope this time was helpful. That's my goal every week, is for this to be a profitable and helpful time. I don't proclaim to be an expert at making this a great program every time, but I do the best I can. So I hope it's helpful. Alan hopes it's helpful, and we're thrilled that you joined us. Good questions, good conversation. We'll be here again next Saturday at noon Central Standard Time, so join us then. And Alan and I want to say thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.